Sorry, Matt. And away we go. Welcome to the pickup meeting. Go ahead and minimize your email inbox. Nothing good is happening there. I'm Kevin Thomas, and sitting across from me is Brody Shears, a guy who schedules a meeting to prepare for a meeting that could have been a text message. It's a Just Us episode. How you doing, Brody?
Well, I don't like that. That wasn't fun.
Why? Have you ever done that before?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for clarifying. Then we don't have to talk about it next time.
I guess I was sending you topics today, like 5 minutes before we went on the air, though. So that's fair. Let's talk about this. Here's some data. Here's some stuff. And you're
That's
like,
true.
maybe next time. And
Listen,
so I'm like, yeah, maybe next time.
For our audience, I think the episodes in which we have a guest, we are always pretty thoroughly prepared for, because we don't want to look like idiots in front of the guests, realizing that all of these go out to the world. And so that's a different factor.
And that we're generally idiots, or can be idiots.
That's true. But when it's a Just Us episode, it's probably as close to the phone calls as you're going to get without language being an issue and without a lot of sports talk and probably a little more life talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And idiocy can reign supreme in these sessions for sure.
They really can. And speaking of idiocy, let's transition here, because it's July 29th and it's that time of the year where all I'm seeing are commercials about back to school. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know what's happening. It's every year as if we've not done this ever.
Yeah. I mean, and it feels like it comes earlier, and they're making you really nervous that if you don't have these supplies, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Right. If your kid goes to school without pencils on the first day, they're never going to learn and be able to read and write. I mean, it's not that dramatic, but it does feel that way. And you walk into Target and if one sign was there, it would be fine. But whether it's Target or Walmart or wherever, Costco, I don't know where you're doing your shopping, wherever you're going into, it is like 45 signs are up. Back to school. Did you know it's around the corner? And I'm like, this isn't Christmas. Like, you don't have to tell us in October. Like, this is a thing. Please stop. We know that school is coming.
You have lots of opinions about this. It's really got your goat.
It just feels so aggressive.
You're sounding aggressive.
It makes me angry. What, like these companies have turned back to school into a holiday for them.
Yeah, that you're not wrong.
I will say there are wonderful people in this world that will use back to school shopping and deals to donate to kids or families or groups that are not able to afford and do that. And so that is the only time I would say that these sales are necessary so that they can do some strategic shopping.
Look, Kevin, I'm going to get nostalgic here. As a student, I mean, I got kind of excited about those things. And look, in the 80s, we had way better back to school things. I mean, now you got a laptop. I mean, who cares about that?
Right. When
I went back to school in the 80s, Trapper Keepers, man.
Trapper Keeper. There it is.
On. Let's go.
And I would say that was like 90s too, because in the 80s, I don't know that I had Trapper Keeper.
And finding one that kind of represented you, right? Like not just a plain one, but maybe, I don't know, Star Wars or whatever it is you were into at the time. Yeah. Fantastic.
How many folders did it have on the inside?
And then, Kevin, nothing. And so this is getting a little sportsy, but I don't care. Nothing was better than the NFL team pencils. Like, let's go.
Yeah. And do you remember as well, they had folders?
Yeah.
And you would get folders for the year.
Yes.
And for me, it would be like, okay, I want the Cardinals folder for this. And then there was a year that Topps had folders. And so you had Ozzie Smith and Vince Coleman and all these folks. And there are certain times when the cost was a determining factor in which of those you'd get. Why am I spending more for this Ozzie Smith one? because it's Ozzie Smith. It's cool.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's do this.
That's right.
I mean, so the supplies themselves on board, the ads and hit me over the head, bite me.
Are we going to have to edit that?
I don't know.
Kevin, that was fun.
Yeah.
You really had an opinion about that. I enjoyed it.
I did.
I tried to bring us back to fun related to school supplies. And look, to be honest, none of us have to worry about those ads anymore. My kids are growing. Your kids
last year,
right? Last year of high school.
His last year of high school. This is it.
They've got it sorted. They know what supplies they need.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Which is great.
It's summer. Still summer. And if you've listened to the previous episodes, you're now thinking, are they really talking about summer again? We're not. But we have to in a way where I think that this is a conversation of summer activities going on, and that's good. And that happens. Like you go for your walk, you go to the ball game, you do the things you're doing. But by late July here, get me in the air conditioner.
It's hot, Don, no doubt.
It's warm. And I think it's a good time to binge some TV shows. And spend it in the air conditioning, just taking it in. Is that your approach, or are you a get out and still do things in late July?
I mean, I like heat better than cold. I know when I was running pretty regularly, when I was really into it, nothing made me happier than waking up in the morning when it was 80 degrees and going out at 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and just getting a good sweat on. Like I always enjoyed that. Now, I could even run when it was 100 degrees. I didn't always like that as much, but nothing really would stop me from getting out and getting a good run in. And so I kind of think about my summer that way. Look, I love the air conditioning. I keep the house pretty cold, no question. But,
what is the house set on?
Right now, the house is set at 68, but when you start to get to heat indexes of 100, I might move it down to 67 or 66.
Yeah. I can't do that anymore. I really cannot. I turned 40 something and all of a sudden I'm cold all the time. And
really,
I can't do it. I can't go that cold. Now, I will say the air unit at my apartment is a liar because it's a big wall unit. I'm on the third floor of a facility. And so, but like during the night, I will turn it down to 72. And I'm going to tell you, there's no way that is 72 because it is chilly. But during the day when I'm just sitting in the apartment, I'm turning it to 75. So the air's not going. And again, there's no way it's 75. It's a lie. So I couldn't tell you what mine is right now.
Are you an 80-year-old man?
I am. I'm trying to be more and more like you in all ways.
It's 75?
It's not really though. It's just it's pretend. The unit's got the wrong numbers.
Catherine and I go to war about this from time to time. Like I'll come home some days when she's at the house and it'll be back up to 68, 70 degrees in the summer. And then at night I'll turn it down.
That's because she's probably paying the bills. And so
she is. Look, the other thing I think that's really interesting inside is I think ceiling fans really work. Like they're very helpful when you're in the house, keeping it cool.
Yeah, they do a decent job. It's not AC, but they do a decent job.
Yeah.
But the other part of this, right, our exterior conversation here is by July 29th, and I'm not a homeowner right now, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's two factions of what's going on. I still need to have green grass, and my yard looks like a mess.
That's funny. I think, I don't really have a yard in the regular sense anymore. I have like native plants in my front yard and kind of landscaping in my back. We do have kind of this side. We do have this side area in between the two houses that has grass. My old neighbors used to just mow that all the time, so we didn't even have to mow it. We have new neighbors this summer, and they don't automatically mow it. So we bought like a push mower that's not gas operated, just one of the old fashioned ones, which are super fun. And so every now and then I have to do that. And that grass is pretty high right now, but I can see in the summer where it would stop growing. But We water the flowers. We do not have our house is so old that we have to take buckets of water in our house and then pour them on the flowers. So it's a little bit more of a thing. But I do it because Kat really likes those flowers to stay alive. And I get it because she takes care of the yard mostly.
Has this always been a thing? Like from a yard standpoint, you're not a yard guy.
I mean, I don't mind mowing the yard. Like the house that we had in Indiana, it took about an hour and a half to push mow the yard with a gas mower. But I always found it to be kind of fun. It was like extra exercise, like getting your steps in, right?
Yeah. No, it was always good for that. But I would say I always wanted my yard to look nice, and that became a little bit of a obsession when I mowed the yard more often. And so I don't know that I ever got to this point where I was okay with the burnt brown that would happen. Yeah. Although in Arkansas, there's a certain season here where everybody's yard just turns to this real disgusting brown. And that's just what it is. But because it's all the same type of grass, I don't know. I'm not a grass expert here. I'm sure there's a word for that too.
Yes, there is.
I don't know what it is, and I'm not Googling it right now because that's knowledge I don't need in my brain.
Are you not a stoner then?
I feel like this is inappropriate for this conversation. What are we talking about?
I was just trying to have a little fun, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Get with the program, my man.
Woo!
Maybe I am smarter than you.
Wow. All right. So on that note, let's talk about higher ed.
Let's do it.
I am somebody that believes that the stories that we tell matter. And we've had this conversation. We've done presentations on this.
Yes, we have.
And I think one of the things that's occurring is public confidence in higher education has a tremendously bad rap right now.
It does.
And so we kind of talked about this in weeks previous of looking at some of the things that are out there. And what we found is something that I don't think people are talking about enough, which is data recently is showing an unexpected tick upward. So let's look at some numbers that are there. And yes, this is as research heavy as we get here, folks. According to Gallup and Lumina, America's confidence in higher education rose to 42%. And now you may be saying that's not great. But that's up from an all-time historic low of 36%.
That's
first
crazy.
Measurable increase in public confidence in a decade.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, one, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because as someone who's lived or worked on a college campus since 1989, I've seen the transformational effects of a college degree in real time across multiple 4-year cycles, right? And most of the data suggests that a college degree is better than not a college degree in terms of overall well-being and health. And I know that that's not automatically the message that resonates with folks, right? Trying to understand that. Just general earning power, but other things, access to healthcare, generally healthier folks, more engaged citizens. All those things come with a college degree. So those are some great data points. I don't know that they're the best talking points, but overall, I would say it's really good that more and more folks are thinking this way, or that we're maybe rebounding a little bit.
Is my thought on the data part of this is the story's still hard to tell.
It is.
You're talking about 42%. This is the conversation when institutions, regional institutions, look at retention and student success and say, we had 70% or graduation rates of being 50%.
Yeah.
Still means 30% and 50% didn't make it. You
Yes.
know, and so this is a similar number to that. I think that the jump up is a nice start. And you have to start to tick up. It can't continue to go down, and that would remain an issue. The other piece that's there is the survey had Americans expressing significantly higher confidence in 2-year and community colleges at 56% than they do in traditional 4-year institutions. That was a little surprising to me as well. But I think some of that is in this focus of career.
Yes.
And the idea that the 2-year school can provide a path that isn't necessarily 4 years of immense debt and 4 years of time when there's certain professions that the 2-year degree will help you thrive in.
Yeah. I mean, I think the trades are an amazing option for students that want to do trades. I mean, that's the other thing is you do have to have a skill or a want to in those spaces to do those things. So when I hear people say the trades are a great option, they absolutely are if you want to do that. I mean, but they're not great if that's not what you want to do. And so to me, it's, college also kind of, I think, helps students figure out what it is they want to do, whether it's a 2-year or a 4-year institution.
I think the thing that we get to here when we're talking about value, because the next part of this conversation gets a little political, and that's not where this show is gone, and I don't think we're really going there today. But there's a partisan gap in this, where 66% of Democrats express high confidence in 4-year colleges, and that number drops to 40% amongst independents and 26% among Republicans. That's troubling. And that's troubling for so many reasons. But it's also one of these things where all of the folks that would say higher education is not doing what it's supposed to do really get into this perceived lack of practical utility and the high price tag. How can we do a better job of telling a story and telling the truth of what's occurring on our campus, given those tides of skepticism?
On the cost front, it's a really hard proposition, don't you think, man? I mean, people need to be able to afford to go to college. And I went to college in 1989, and I had a job during school, and then I had a job in the summer. And those jobs generally helped me pay for tuition, even in the late 80s and early 90s. And I was making $3.05 an hour in the cafeteria when I was working at Indiana University my freshman year, right? I made a little bit more my sophomore year, but that could pay for school. And now summer jobs can't pay for school, right? Nope. Like that's part of the issue. Is the cost has kind of outrun wages for students, and even finding jobs for students can get a little bit harder. There's no question about that. So I think the cost proposition is a hard one, and we have to continue to find ways to get states, I think, and institutions to think about that differently. But in my space, it's not something that I can control. I think the message that I send to students is still that it's a good investment in your own personal development, and ultimately it's going to be good. But that doesn't always work, right? To me, it's about keeping as many doors open as possible and trying to share the story that way. And that investment comes with some initial costs, but ultimately it's going to be better.
I was talking to a friend, a fraternity brother from college the other day that does not work in higher education, but he's about to get involved in some higher ed aspects of things. And one of the things that he brought up is he said, what is the difference now between college students and whenever we were in college together?
Yeah.
And that point that you mentioned about work, and I don't think I've ever worked a job where I got paid $3.05 or $3.50 or whatever it was. that was pre-me. That's that 10-year difference. That's getting
it is.
But I did talk to him about that being a huge part of this, is that the balance of money and priorities and all the things going on is a competing priority with the fact that I would say many, many, many more students are working jobs. And so all of a sudden they're doing 10, 20 to 40 hours a week compared to when we went and it was like, I work in a computer lab. This is great.
I do my homework and I get paid $5 or $6 an hour.
Right. Not a necessity, but it is something that is happening. And that I feel like is less. I feel more people have jobs, sometimes multiple jobs, while balancing a number of hours. And I think that is a reality of the students, which then it gets into that conversation of value. And we have got to do a better job on campuses of selling that value to the students that are coming, but the family, but then also just screaming it from the rafters and not being afraid to say, look at the good that's happening. And it gets back to me to that notion of we've got to ensure that students and families understand that we're here to help them with their needs, not that we are here to help say how great we are.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And I think the other thing, this is going to be very liberal artsy of me. I have a liberal arts degree, and we know some of the data suggests that liberal arts folks do just fine after several years post graduation in terms of earnings. I sometimes have had to joke with parents, my undergraduate degree was in political science and I did okay, because sometimes parents will come back at you and say, well, what can you do with an art degree? What can you do with an economics degree? What can you do with these liberal arts degrees? And folks turn out okay. And I always say, I turned out okay. And I remember a parent said to me, well, but you're you. And I'm like, of course, that's right. I mean, the other thing is there are no guarantees, but part of the experience too, the learning piece is an important piece. And maybe we don't remember everything, but kind of getting committed to learning and a process to me is really important. Kind of being exposed to new and different things through the classroom is another part of this that I just don't think we talk about enough generally.
Yeah. No, I talk about this a lot at preview events on campus and on any campus I've been on. At some point, there are going to be hundreds of people graduating at the same time. What's the difference in that? Because they're all going to have a degree that says their name and what they graduate with, and 50 of them are going to say the same thing. 60 of them are going to say the same thing. So the experience matters the most. I like where things are going towards career being a greater focus of the education outcomes. I do like that because I think it matters to what we're doing. I think I get a little more nervous at this point because some degrees are not going to do well in the metrics that are there when you compare it against what high school graduates make versus those particular students. Psychology comes to mind. On most of our campuses, psychology is going to be a big program. And when you look at just the bachelor's degree outcomes of a psychology degree from a career standpoint and a salary standpoint, it's not that different from a high school graduate. And that's a talking point that I think people will use to talk about value of education. And that's kind of a dangerous point that's there. But what's missing is that in the psychology field, you go and get the master's, or you go and just go straight to get the doctorate. And then that's how you all of a sudden are making more money in the field. And I think people tend to just look at it in this way. Here's the talking point. This is what we're going to talk about, value of higher education. And I think that gets dangerous.
It is. And I would also say it's really about how are you going to market the skills that you've developed in that space too, right? And I think more and more of the best companies are really looking at those critical thinking skills, the ability to communicate effectively. I don't want to be cliche. Those are things that are happening during that time you're a college student. And, one of the things I talk to my daughters about, my youngest daughter the other day was kind of like, God, I don't really want to go to work and I'm not feeling really motivated. That's a whole nother topic. And I'm like, yeah, just imagine if you were in college and taking courses right now, like people want to get out of there as quickly as possible. And I always think about those 4 years as being some of the best years of my life. Right. And, when you leave, you're going to the real world, whether you get a college degree or not, you're going to have to start working. You're in the grind. And if you're not doing something you really want to do, it's going to be hard. Right. That's the other piece to this. And I think college and a college degree gives people the most options to kind of find work that's meaningful to them, that's really important to them. And so that's something I think we should help students grapple with while they're here, is making a lot of money can matter. But ultimately, I think I just saw a study. I'll have to maybe preface or get this article into the YouTube piece, but there was a study here recently that suggests that money's an important piece, but in terms of making meaning in our work, it's just not as important as some of the other things, right? Like purpose and helping others and finding meaning in the work or the organization where we work. Money matters, but it's not the most important thing in some instances.
It's a conversation that I don't think is going anywhere, but that we have to do a better job of telling all sides. I think that we're going to hear a lot from media that will talk about the negatives that are there because the talking points are a little easier, but it means that in higher education, we've got to be champions of our own success. And I kind of want to wrap it up here with some of the reasons it lists that the public is skeptical of higher education fell into three major buckets. 38% cited political or ideological agendas. 32% said that institutions have the wrong focus and fail to teach practical, relevant career skills. But this is the part of me that really says, this last bucket that says this number can't grow much and not be an issue, which is 24% cited the unsustainable inflation of cost and student expenses.
Yeah.
I think we're getting close to that point.
Yeah,
we're getting close to that point with a lot of different institutions trying to do a lot of things to keep education affordable, but trying to do that at times when states are not being overly supportive. Matter of fact, if you have a state that's supportive, you're cheering that and kind of saying we're lucky, as opposed to what most states are going through, and where you're not getting a lot of love and support from the federal government and that support either. Cost is a consideration and really at a tipping point that if it continues to go up, I don't know how we all function as well as we need to. And I think that's where you start to see a lot of places closing down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I've sometimes put blinders on too, because most of my experiences have been at places where it's primarily been traditionally aged residential, 18 to 22-year-olds. And I also understand, right, that college isn't that anymore, really. I mean, from a demographics perspective, a lot of people are coming back to school. They're looking for quicker pathways. They're looking for online pathways. They're using the college degree to maybe move up in their career. And so I think also recognizing that is important for me, because those three things that you just mentioned all impact a larger demographic than our traditionally aged students. My take is generally once we have traditionally aged students on our campuses, they understand the value of a college degree, or the value of at least being at college, right? And kind of what that freedom and opportunity gives them. But I think there's a whole demographic that we're missing in that space when we start to describe that. The only other thing that I would say too, Kevin, is I have found this to be frustrating, and I think it's real. And I don't know that I have a good solution for it, but I think the idea that when we graduate from college, that these things automatically happen, right? That I find a good job right away, that I'm making $100,000 right away. I don't think that we have automatically prepared students for the grind that is the real world in some instances. And I don't know that I had good answers for that. I think there are legitimate concerns that young people should have about what things are going to look like after college, but it's not you don't automatically get there. You can't automatically buy the $300,000 house or $400,000 house and have a six-figure salary. That takes time to get to. And I think we've got a culture maybe where folks aren't really understanding that, or not in a way that's as meaningful as it needs to be.
Before we move to our top three, let's just ask this question. I went to Murray State University. If I went to Murray State University today, I still think it would be a choice that I could make because it's affordable. I'm curious if you think that would still apply to 18-year-old Brody trying to go to your university that you went to at that time, because the costs have gotten different.
I think I'd still be able to go, but it'd be harder.
It would be much harder. Yeah, I agree. And that's what families are facing is a much harder decision. All right. How about a top three today?
Yeah, let's go. We need to get off that depressing topic because I think we've got lots of work to do there still.
We do. States you've never been to but want to go to. And I'm going to do this quick because I know we gotta get to a wrap-up point too. All right, my first two are easy for me.
Okay.
Alaska and Hawaii.
Oh.
And that's not in that order, but I think those are unique states that I've not been to and I would like to go to.
That's fair.
My third is Massachusetts. I've never been.
What?
I know.
Like you've never been to Boston?
That's true. I've never been to Boston.
Good golly. Boston is a great place. I've been there a couple times. Yeah.
And there are other states that I think can be on that list.
Right.
But those are the three that came to mind. And there's I think I would like certain aspects of Montana. But in general, I also think I would say, well, this seems like a lot of outdoor stuff.
I'm not a hunter or a fisherman for
Right.
sure.
What are your three?
Well, I mean, we were talking about this. You've never been to Boston. I've never been to New York City. So I've been to New York State, but like in terms of famous cities, you've never been to Massachusetts, and Boston is in Massachusetts, obviously. But I've been to New York, but I've never been to New York City. So that's a city I'd want to get to. I'll do states that you did not mention, although Alaska and Hawaii would certainly be great states to visit, and I've not been to either one. I picked three. I picked South Carolina. I've never been to South Carolina. You were kind of surprised by that.
I am.
I've never been. I think Washington would be. I've never been to Washington, the state of Washington. I got to get to Seattle and Rhode Island. I just had a colleague who talked about how great Rhode Island was. He was just there, and I was like, oh, yeah, Providence would be fun. So those are my three. Simple.
I think those are good three.
Yeah, good three. I'm
All
kind
right.
of surprised I haven't been to those three.
Yeah, I am too. The South Carolina one surprised me.
All right. Well, that was quick and easy.
Just us.
Just us. Well, gang, that's it for this edition of the Pickup Meeting, a Just Us episode. We hope all your pickup meetings, whether formal or pickup style, are as fun and as meaningful as this one. Until the next time, gang, let's just do good and be nice. How about it?